Moving on to our third and final Gamma Lab workshop of the Scale with AI Summit series. Allison, great to see you.
Hi, Darby. Hi, everyone. I'm back.
Welcome back.
How are you guys this morning? How are you feeling? Day three? Excited?
Yeah, this one has been a great series so far. A lot of great feedback, a lot of new insights for what is possible with Gamma. Great
Yeah.
takeaway.
Dayco tested this, but our team ships very quickly and very often. We like always have new stuff cooking. And I was talking to some of the team yesterday at lunch after I wrapped up with you guys, and it was cool because I was telling them everything that I've been sharing with you guys, and they're like, that's basically a training. Like, this is almost a certification. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I was thinking, I hinted at this to you, Darby, but for the
Mhm.
rest of the group, I've shown you the wide world of Gamma, all the different things you can do with it. And I thought it might be fun instead of talking at you today for you guys to maybe feed me some material. You can drop in your website link or just a website that you think would be cool to like remake in Gamma. If you have some slides, that could work too, but it might be a little trickier given the nature of Zoom chat. And I can maybe recreate a few of these live. Darby, you sent me some great material for the game, but if anyone else has anything they would be interested to see me recreate, feel free to drop it in the chat.
Yeah, we already
I
got
think
one name in the hat. We got George with moreprofitrocket.com.
love that name.
Anyone else wants to throw their name in the hat? Now's the time to do that. And again, one of the many benefits of joining us here live on the summit to be involved with these interactive sessions. This is our mentioning even earlier at the beginning of today's session. It's fun to just improv a bit with these tools and see what you can create when new problems or challenges come up. And of course, with you and Gamma and your skills and abilities, seeing how you operate with these tools, Allison, is really cool to from someone that works in it all day, every day, how you
Totally.
approach problem solving. And I think it's something that a lot of people can learn from in their own.
And I've been at Gamma for over 3.5 years now. So the company, when AI was like not the big thing, we were not building an AI tool. We were building this like communication tool. And so I have a lot of like contextual knowledge about how the tool works, why these features work the way they do. And I love to share that with people. So I think it's really fun. But I'm also loving this site that George sent. So let's take a look at it together. Um, More Profit Rocket is really fun. I love this squirrel astronaut. It's so good.
Allison, his name is Captain Stash
Oh my
because
God,
the app is called Profit Stash,
that's amazing.
and his initials after his name are SEO. Captain Stash SEO, it stands for Senior Edutainment Officer.
I love this. It's so good. We actually have our own astronaut mascot. Her name is Sal. You can see it right here. And I've internally, my like my personal idea is that Sal is secretly like a cat or like a rabbit inside of the astronaut suit. So you're like, we're right on
I
the
love
same
it.
brain flow.
They'll have to meet
Uh,
each other.
I know they in like space somewhere. Okay, cool. This is great. This is perfect. So we got a lot of like great content here. And I think we should just start out by importing this into Gamma. There are a couple things I could do with this right off the bat. So we have a site that has like a lot of copy and a lot of text, and this is like really great information. So I could paste it in, but remember we have that import from URL feature. So I'm just going to paste this link right in here. And remember, everyone, I've never seen this site before, so I have no idea what's about to happen. The magic of live demos. And now we're just waiting for the AI to scoop all that information up. Of course, we want it to be a web page, so hitting web page. Um, and then we're just gonna keep moving forward. So it looks like it took the top section and maybe the stuff underneath didn't come with. So I'm actually just gonna try importing that again because it's like AI, so sometimes it doesn't get everything in the first shot. But if it doesn't get it this time, then it's a pretty easy, like, next step. I can just go back and copy and paste this content. So I tried this earlier with the SideHustle game site that Darby sent, and it did work and it did scoop everything up. So this is actually great information for me because now I'm just gonna go file a bug report after I get done here with you guys. But I copied and pasted everything here, right? And it even copy and pasted the images. So that's ideally what would happen. It just didn't happen this time, which is fine. Again, filing bug reports. Copy that too. And then I'll go back up here, switch to card by card mode, and let Gamma split up the content for me because I don't want to have to make those decisions. I will also change it to preserve because I suspect that there's really good information in here and I don't want the AI to necessarily change it. Um, and I'll do AI images for now and maybe just change the model a little. But I think there's like definitely a clear tone and voice. So we'll not give any more instructions, just preserve. So now we're going to hit continue and generate it. And looking at the page, we've got a lot of like blues and oranges. So let me see if I can find like an orange theme just to start with. And I'll also walk you guys through sort of the theme creation process. Now what I'm looking for in the theme is this orange color. So I was saying earlier, your themes will all have accent colors built into them. And so the accent color controls the primary buttons, links, CTAs on your Gamma. Oh, this actually works pretty well because it's like space themed. It's got orange. We could do this one. I think this is a little better. And I'm using this as a starting point because I'm planning to customize the theme once this is generated. So this won't be the final theme. This is just our like launching point. And again, with AI, I think the best way to think about it is like a really good first draft or a customized template. So now we'll just let Gamma generate the page and then I'm going to pull them up side by side and maybe take a look at how we can make these a little bit more cohesive. But the amazing thing is that it's so much less futzing than a traditional website builder. I was actually home over the holidays and I was helping my sister with her business website, which she has like an e-commerce like part of her site. So it's not like able to be in Gamma because we don't offer that functionality right now. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that you have to deal with this. Okay, so we got a lot of these images. We got, it looks like we got all the text. George, you can confirm to me if that's right, or if you see anything that's like obviously missing, that we can pull back in. And we are pretty much almost done generating. Okay, nice. I didn't even put this into a button, so that's cool. So we got all of our content. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the original site and I'm just going to put it next to what I'm working on in Gamma. And there's a couple things that sort of jump right out. So the first is that you have this like really nice like hero section with this galaxy background and Captain Stash over here. So I'm just gonna go in into the inspector and see if I can find that image. 1 second. Live demos. Okay. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but the nice thing is we have AI, so we can just generate like a nice Starfield background for you. Let's say a galaxy star, and we'll say blues, cool tones. And we want it to be landscape, so it looks good. And I'm gonna go with, actually, I'll just stick to Flux Ultra. Okay, so we're gonna let that generate in the background. And there's a couple things that I'm thinking of that can make this look a little bit more like your original site. So the first is that I'm gonna pull, all right, there we go. I'm gonna pull Captain Stash out over here. And I'm gonna drop this image into the background of that first card. Sorry, it's a little hard to see because I'm editing on your screen. So now we have this image in the background of this first card. Whoops, actually that's an accent image. So I'm gonna, it was a top layout because of where I dragged it, and now I'm making it a background layout. I'm gonna take off the frosted effect so you can see the galaxy really clearly. And then I'm gonna type slash and then column to make a 2-column layout. Just paste that text in, drag Captain Stash over here. make sure his title comes along, and then grab these and put them in that column. So obviously this is a little hard to read, so we're going to fix that. A couple ways we can do this. I'm going to put these into text boxes or into note boxes. So you can type slash and then box. There's a lot of different box options. What I like to use in this situation is a note box. So these are nice. They just can contain text and some other content. Have some pre-built, pre-installed icons here. So if you have like an alert or a warning, then you can change it to that icon. But I actually don't need an icon here. And I just want it to show up and look nice. So I'm going to just go for one of these more neutral colors and paste that text in. So now we've got Captain Stash and his title here. And I can do the same thing. Whoops, wrong thing. Got excited, put a chart in. I do the same thing and put a note box over here. And by the way, if I don't want to put note boxes in, another option is I could put that mask back. And let's just see if I like this more. I'll put this mask back, but change it to maybe a lighter color so that star field still bleeds through. I'm not really seeing, well, actually, like that. Maybe let's see if there's a blue one suits the original design. All right, I'm
Can
gonna
you do
stick
a
with
percentage on the overlay?
not yet. This is something I really want, but we just haven't around to prioritizing that yet. But I think this looks pretty decent. What do you think, George?
I'm still attached to seeing more of the galaxy. We
I
need the
know.
overlay.
Yeah, let's think. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we could try here. So I'm gonna just duplicate this card and go back to the clear version. Now, what we can do to have a lot of the overlay show is again just put this content into a box, get rid of that icon, and to change the box color. Again, there's some stuff that we're going to do with theming to make this all a little bit more visually consistent. We're not quite there yet, but get that button in there. So this is one option. Another thing we could do is we could take this out and add a backdrop. So I have that galaxy. Ooh, actually, there were some other nice galaxy images in here too. So I have that galaxy there. I can put that in the background. And then actually, let's go to the theme right now and we'll start customizing it. So we're going to do for profit. George, your original site is light. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the background color of the page to something lighter. A cool feature that the color picker in Gamma has is an eyedropper. So I can actually just go here and pick the color from your original site. And there it is. Let's go with a blue for that card. Actually, we'll go with white too, just to make it easy to make other changes. So we're going to keep iterating on this theme and go back and forth, but I have control over the card transparency in the design tab of the themes. So I can set it to frosted or faded, and then, oops, sorry, zoom control's in the way, as always. I'm gonna go back and save this, change this to be just a regular card, and now I can go in here and keep editing. So now you can see there's a blue mask here, but you can still see that galaxy star field in the background. And I think we're getting a lot closer here. So let me just save that, get rid of this color, and maybe make it just black. And I don't know, I like that. What do you think, George?
It's definitely improved, but it's still like the pinpoint control that I have in WordPress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Like this is Gamma websites are definitely not going to be a replacement for that pinpoint control if that's what you need. But I think we were talking with Omar yesterday about just that speed factor. And
Yeah,
so
yeah, for
I
sure.
think if you're looking to make something like quickly that looks great, that you can iterate on and that you don't need like pixel precision control, like Gamma is the right tool. Okay, so let's delete this one because we don't love that. Okay, let's tackle the next section. So
Before you do that, wait, I have a question.
yeah.
Are you able to put a custom color for the overlay so that you can add the specific shade you want?
Yeah, totally. So that would be controlled in the theme. I can get in there from here. So if I just click the color picker and then add some more colors, that would be the easiest way to do that. So let's grab like a nice blue color over here, or that's a little dark, so we'll lighten it a little bit. This deep blue, whoops, that in the heading. Black again. So you saw I just added that blue color. Now when I go to this color menu, it's going to show up right here. So I can also change this to any of the colors that are in there. But Gamma also has these like preset system colors that you can use. And again, we try to just pick nice colors for you so you have nice defaults, but make it flexible enough that if you have your own content, you have your own colors, then you can add it, make them look nice.
Allison, would a workaround be to can in Gamma can I insert my own image at the in the hero section?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So if I had this image, I would have used it.
Oh,
It
okay.
would take a little bit too much time for me to find it.
No, I
Anyways.
understand. But since I have it,
But
I could.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So what you would do, George, is you would go into this backdrop, and instead of AI images, you could just choose image upload.
Right.
You would
Okay.
just upload that right in here, and it should have, since the image itself, I'm guessing, has this cut on it.
No, that's the theme.
Okay, that's the
Yeah.
theme. Got it. Yeah, you would just need to modify the image, I
Yeah.
think, but
Yeah, I
then it
could
would
do that.
go like this.
Yep.
And as long as everything underneath the cut in the
Yep.
image itself is transparent, you'll achieve the same effect. I just don't want to go into a Photoshop
Yeah,
right
no worries. Yeah, I get it.
but that would be like another way to do that. So there is a little bit of like stuff you can do with sort of image editing, some workarounds like that that can achieve pretty cool effects. So I think, let's see. So this is originally in this second section. Let's actually, what do you think about having this content in the hero, George? Do you like it up here, or did you want it to be in like section 2 more?
I think section 2 is better.
Okay, cool. Let's get rid of that. And we'll put this in here. I think something that might look cool, let's find out together, is if we make this its own hero section sub-hero. So we can use another sort of contrasting color to call attention to this content. Let's see. And in the original, this is bolded, skyrocket. And then it looks like Gamma just added a heading here, which is something that happens with AI. And now we're in like the good, like meaty content of this page. Something that you can immediately probably notice is that Gamma applied a layout to these bullet points, which I think is a nice sort of visualization. We recently, and when I say recently, like literally last week, added the ability to add icons to any of these smart layouts. So again, I covered this on day 1, mentioned it in day 2, but we offer all these different like layouts and visualizations in Gamma. And the really cool thing about these is that they are like mutually interchangeable. So if I wanted to change this to like a flower layout, then I could do that. If you like want to use the semicircle, you can do that. So I think again, I would really encourage everyone to play around with these and see which one suits their messaging. But in this case, the icon is really cool because you could click on the icon right here in the space and say maybe like question, and I could put like that question icon in here. So it just adds a little bit more visual impact with visual variety to your page. I don't know, receipt or something. Yeah, that'll work for like payroll. So just something to consider when you're building your layouts. Like Gamma will put these layouts in by default, but I think you can really customize them and make them improve the messaging by adding icons. If you have your own custom icon set, you can upload them here too. There's a couple things we can try now. So this is just something I do in my own workflow when I'm testing around with AI and edits. I'm going to duplicate this card. So I did that by going to the film strip over here, and I hit Command D on my keyboard, but you can also do that here. Let's ask AI to try a different layout. And while it's doing that, I'm going to go down here to the original one that we duplicated it. And okay, so I actually don't think that's better. So let's just go back to the original version. I'm going to just split this card into two because there's just a lot of text in this section. I think this is a good opportunity for us to break things out visually a little bit more, like a little bit more grouping. I'm going to put this into a column and migrate this text inside. So let's look at the original page again. There's a break here in the original, so we'll just add that back. And we'll do this. A couple more choices we can make. We can sort of mess with the text size here. And I think this is a little closer. We could also try to put this content into a layout. Let's see what we can do. Let me try visualizing it. We'll see what it does here. All right. I think that's a nice way to look at this. I think, again, we can just get rid of these headings here. I feel like that's one of the problems with generative AI. It's a little too generative sometimes. Okay, so as I iterate through with AI, see this happening, a couple of things are coming to mind. I think we can split this out again into its own card. And what I'm doing right now is I'm chunking up the information so that then I can make some design decisions that allow me to modify the overall visual impact of the page. These, I think, again, this would be like another good contender for some sort of like background image or layout. I'm gonna just go back to a color card, and I might just make this more neutral, like white. If I was spending more time on this, I would really get into that custom theme and add some more colors that give us more control. But I just want to be able to get through as much of this page as I can with you guys live. And because I think this is like a very high impact section of your site, George, I think these are like great questions, and this is something that is really going to draw people in. I'm going to make sure that this card has a ton of visual impact. I have this great galaxy in the background up here. Then we're switching to this orange, which really draws the eye. I have these great callouts, which I'm going to add back in some of this emphasis that you had, which I think was useful in calling attention to some of your key points, George. But now I'm going to change the card color to something a little bit more striking. So this black maybe isn't popping quite like I want it to. I could go back to this orange and then maybe use sort of a bigger font. So I'm using Markdown to transform these into H3s. I think they're H4s right now. So that was a H4. Oh, sorry, 1 second. My keyboard was having a problem. Okay, cool. So we have these H3s. Obviously, the color on these little bullets isn't working right now because the accent color for the theme is orange. So they want to be orange. Okay, this isn't quite working for me either. Sorry, you're watching the design process live at work. I'm actually going to just try using that Starfield image here. And okay, I think we're getting closer. I'm going to grab these, make sure this matches the other ones, and go back to these icons. So I think I'll just put in like money. I guess we'll look for money again and see what comes up. I think that works. And like receipt. Okay, so I think this is one of the core messages of this site, like these questions. So I really want these to stand out, and I think they do now. So you have this more visual journey through the page. I'm gonna take a sip of water for a second. Any other questions or ideas from the group before I move on?
There's some technical questions, but nothing about the design, so I'm answering them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just let me know. And of course, everyone speak up if you have an idea or a thought or feedback. Love to hear it. You want to find me. Okay, so looking at the original page again, we have more text and these bullet points. So I think, okay, so Gamma has already transformed these bullet points here into a layout. And it actually did pick a bunch of icons, which is pretty cool. Something that I found is AI is pretty good at picking icons for you. So if you, oops, let me just jump into Claude real quick. So if you have a icon set that you use, one thing that you could do, and I do this all the time actually, like at work, is I could take a screenshot of this content, drop it into Claude and say, help me choose icons for each of these bullet points. If you have a preferred icon set, you can include it, and usually the AI will know which one to choose. I can say, please use font awesome icons. That's what we use at Gamma. Now Claude will think a little bit and then choose an icon that works for each of these. And so if you're ever stuck, this is just a general AI tip, like if you're ever stuck on icons or visuals, like literally just copy and paste a screenshot of your content into ChatGPT or Claude and ask it to help you choose or describe a good visual or a good icon. I used to spend so much time finding icons, picking icons, and I don't have to do that anymore, which is such a delight. It's just chef's kiss. Okay, so let's take a look at this content. So we've got a couple paragraphs, and I think one thing that immediately stands out to me is this quote. Sorry, I'm taking in the content and think about what to do with it at the same time. I'm gonna just raise the visual hierarchy of some of this. I think this is a great, impactful message. So we really want to make sure that your audience sees this when they come to the page. I think let's break this up a little bit. So I think this piece, right? We were trained to take care of people, not numbers. We don't understand so we don't understand what to look for, or we psych ourselves out by thinking numbers aren't my thing. And I think that is such a great quote. One thing you can do is you can turn it into a block quote. So I did that on my keyboard by typing this like angle bracket and then space, and it transforms it. You can also do that by highlighting the text and using convert to block quote. So I can use the block quote here. And I think this is the heart of what this sort of section, this messaging is about. So I can reduce that a little bit. And I think we are getting somewhere. So I'm gonna, for the sake of keeping like the momentum through this page, I'm just adding an image placeholder here to get a better sense of what the layout would be. I think this is a great place to add a visual. So actually, let's just let AI work on that. We'll see what it comes up with. Maybe it'll be funny and we can all laugh together. I just let Gamma write a prompt based on the content. And to be honest, AI image generators, like their strength is definitely not generating like data visualization. So I think this will be oh, actually, this does work with the content because it is about getting psyched out by numbers. So I'm just gonna leave this because I think this works. And because we have image left, text right, that actually helps guide me for the next section because I can just invert that layout to achieve a more balanced look. And I'll just do image right, text left. So again, I'm just gonna let the AI generate what it generates. I think you got some great content to work with. So I'm really appreciative that you pasted this in, George. We can adjust the size of these accent images too, just to make sure that we like how everything is laid out. I think in this case, I'm not going to worry too much about the size of the accent image yet because we're not done getting our text content into sort of format we want it. Another couple of things that you can do to draw attention to text or change the like visual hierarchy of text. You can use the text colors here. Orange and white is not like ideal reading wise. But you also can use this highlight feature to highlight certain things. Again, we're working with like orange by default, so there's a little bit of like navigation you have to do to get that like nice and readable. But you can see with blue, Gamma will automatically adjust the text color to work against your highlight background. Let's see. Actually, I really like this about deciphering alien technology. So a person trying to decipher alien technology. I think that's a great like sort of description of what it's like to try to understand like complex data as like a not data person, like non-numbers person, which is definitely me. So this resonates. Oh, also, I keep forgetting to look through all three images the AI generates. I think these are all really like cool options. Let's see. Any favorites here? These are some of the ones that were generated for this section about the blind spot boopers. I think this is, I think this one sort of fits with the previous one. So I'll leave this and keep moving on. Sorry, I'm like such a designer. I gotta keep futzing with this. Let's jump back into here. First, we'll just do that. And let's see, step inside the more private galaxy. This, it looks like the AI got a little bit confused about the original of the page. So it broke it up into these cards. I can see that this heading right here ended up here and it like added some more headings that we don't need. I'm just gonna paste this. I'm just gonna paste this text right here. I just jumped me down the page a little. Oh, I didn't want that block quote. That's my bad. We'll get rid of that. And then we can just get rid of this entire card. But I do like that key. We can bring it back later though. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullets in the original. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. Great, so we got everything. It looks like the AI chose an arrows layout. We can change the direction of these and have it going like this way, or we can keep it going downward. I don't know if arrows necessarily makes sense because these aren't really like sequential messages. I think these are maybe more suited for, let's see, I think the icons looks good. We can change the size of the icons here and make those big. And we can also change the column size. So now you have that nice like grid layout. I'm gonna stick with this. So we have a four column layout and I can center align them to make it a little bit more balanced, or I can go with a 3, but then you have that one at the end. I think 2 maybe is actually, I think 2 works. You just have this one at the end, which is a bummer because it looks a little lonely.
That orphaned box would change depending on what screen you're on too, though.
Yeah, it'll change depending on what screen you're on, but I think here I can show you. Actually, let's just use preview mode. We'll preview the current page. And for most screens, it's gonna be, it'll try to be 4 if I use this 4 setting. For a tablet, see, it's trying to retain that 4, but then obviously with mobile, it's not gonna have that space, so it's just gonna stack them all vertically. So I'm gonna stick with the 4 column one, and I think that this is pretty close already, and we didn't have to do that much work to this. A couple options here are to make it into a card. So you have this border, which kind of helps with breaking up some of this just like white page space. We could also add a card backdrop here and use color to add some visual spice too. I don't necessarily think orange would be what I would go with here, but time. Okay, so we got this next section. Looks like this is maybe where I struggled the most because we have some of these images here. I actually know exactly what to do with these sections. And okay, so here we go. We're gonna take this and change it to a top layout. Not quite. Okay, we're gonna actually just drag this out. We will have it full bleed, like fill the width. That used to be on top. I'm gonna grab this and put it where it's supposed to be. We can center align that. Let's see, that looks a little bit better. And we'll get this content right here. I see that in your page, you have this content, the line length is a lot narrower than this card. So this is a trick I use all the time in my gammas. I am going to make a 3-column layout, and to achieve a similar effect, I'm just going to put that text in the center and just drag it out until it looks a little better. Okay, so we got that. Now, what I'm going to do is these, when I look at these sections, they just look like smart layouts to me. I'm just going to rely on having the content in here, but I'm actually going to make a new card and go for the images with text layout because I already know that's pretty close to what I want. Let's see, we got Profit Stash app. Oh, okay, I see what it did. It made a card for all of these sections. So actually, I'm gonna just paste it straight in from the original website. So I think that'll be the fastest option for me right now. Let's left align that. We also have keyboard shortcuts for this. So this is Command Shift L. Let's copy this in. This could be a text link. We could also turn it into a button if I can type. You have a couple options for your buttons. You can make them outline or filled. So if you have a layout like this, you can definitely turn it into, you can turn your buttons into, sorry, words fails for a second. You can turn your buttons into outlines that there's a little bit less like stuff fighting for your attention in the layout. Let's see. Learn more. I'm gonna just copy this image and paste it in. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix the images in a second so they don't get cut off. We're just gonna paste all of these images in, and that one I pasted in the wrong place. It's okay. Sorry, copy and paste. Watching someone copy and paste on the internet is the most exciting thing. Sorry, guys. Any other like ideas, thoughts as I go through this? Hopefully it's clear what I'm doing.
Darby, which are you referencing what Allison's doing about doing something with Claude or both?
Kind of building on the question or idea right above that.
Yeah, people were asking about how to export a site into WordPress. And so George had the idea of taking the design from Gamma, using an AI tool to convert to code.
Yeah. And I was thinking you could probably use something like Claude or a Bolt that would be able to take what you design, and because I think there's a lot of value to just the speed of being able to design and iterate in Gamma. And then when
Yeah,
you
totally.
like the flow, you're like, okay, now let's hard code it and let's
Yeah.
really make this thing something we do. Claude could write that code based on a wireframe that you screenshot and added in.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I actually have wireframed in Gamma a lot. I'm currently helping our marketing team a little bit with some exciting stuff that you guys will get to know in a couple weeks. We're super excited to share it with the world. But yeah, I was helping our marketing team spin up some pages, and I used Gamma to make them a wireframe template because our content people, they should not be like spending time trying to figure out how to use Figma to make a
Yeah.
fill in a Figma template. So I actually made them a template in Gamma to use. I can show you guys this in a minute. And it's been like super helpful because they just fill in the content inside Gamma in a text editor. But for our engineers, they have something that's mid fidelity that they can work with. It's low fidelity visually, but like the layout is pretty like close to the end layout. So it's just a great tool to like bridge that gap sometimes. Sort of like we were talking about with code. Like you get the layout, the formatting down in Gamma, the basics, and then you can import it into like Claude or something, ask it to spit out some code for when you want that like pixel precision. Okay, so we got these good to go. Oh, this is still a little cut off, but I think, whoops, not that one. Okay. I, yeah, I would just have to mess a little bit more with the image sizing and sort of columns here. Slash, I might just need to get a version of the image with a little bit more padding around the side. I thought that we had a fit. So I think these are all just duplicate content. This is also an option. So if you wanted to break all of these out and give them their own sort of call out sections in the page, like you could do that. But I've just chosen to try to stick to your original layout, which I do think works pretty well. Funnily, Gamma put a pyramid layout here, which that's one of my favorite parts of AI is when it does like unexpected funny stuff like this. A pyramid definitely does not make that much sense for this content. And I think actually what you have here, George, originally makes a ton of sense layout wise. So we're just gonna go back to that. And I think that image is here. So we'll put that inside, I think. Someone say something. I don't want to.
Sorry, I was unmuted. I have people in my house. I'll mute.
Oh, you're good, good. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone's comments or ideas. So we got a little bit darker gray. This is repeat because I just pasted it. These are your footer stuff, and let's get that button in. It's actually down here, but I'm gonna just paste it there. So this would be a footer. Okay, so we got something that, I mean, I think it looks pretty nice. Let's go into, whoops, preview mode and take a look. So we've got that header with the star field. Again, if you have a transparent PNG, you can use that as the background image and achieve that cut effect. We have basically all the content. We've transformed some of these bullet points and these like paragraphs into slightly more visual layouts so that we can draw more emphasis to like the core message of each content section. Added, oh my God, AI added a like fake signature for the fake artist. I love it. Also, authentically on. So good. Yeah, so we've broken out some of the content into their own sections thematically, and then added a little bit more like visual hierarchy to the type, added some images to allow us to get these layouts that like flow a little bit more. We have added some icons to this section, which is like really communicating to the value of the more profit galaxy. And we've put these into layouts, which are similar to the ones that you have in your original website, George, but these are pretty flexible. And if you wanted to add a fifth one or a sixth one or take it down to 3, these would let you do that really easily. We've got this CTA at the bottom, and I'm going to go back to the theme for a second and make a couple of adjustments that should make this look a little bit nicer. But what I was saying before about if you were to add a 5th section, then the nice thing about how these smart layouts work is that they are automatically going to adjust everything to like work for you. So if you have 6 now, then you have one of those hanging off the end. So you could just adjust the layout and now it just knows what to do. So I'm gonna kind of undo all of that. And actually what I'll do first is I'm gonna publish this so that you guys can take a look on your own computers if you want. Again, the magic of live demos. I'm gonna find my Zoom controls. Here you go. Oops, wait, sorry. I think I just DM'd that to you, Demi, but I want everyone to see it. Okay. All right, we're gonna go into the theme real quick, and we only have a few more minutes together, sadly. One thing I'm gonna do, I noticed while I was editing is that, like I was saying earlier, in terms of accessibility and contrast, orange can be a really tricky color, but we're using a lot of it here. So I'm actually just gonna turn this off. I was saying this the other day, we don't really recommend that you do that, but in certain cases, if you have an orange or a yellow and you really want that color to pop and be true to your actual color, that is like the case where you would turn this off. So now you can already see that these buttons are looking a lot better. They're not this like dark orange. I'm also just going to take one more look at George's original page. Okay, yeah, so we have this star field on the bottom for the footer, and let's see, I think you're using a much more like neutral font. So I'm just gonna go in and look. Okay, yeah, we got Montserrat. That it did look very Montserrat to me. It's like design nerdy stuff. So I'm just gonna go here, and I know that Montserrat is a font that Gamma already offers. So I searched for it by just typing, and the search will filter down, or it'll jump automatically to there. But Montserrat is in our list of like pre-built font, like pre-installed fonts. So now we've got that correct font. And I could add the logo here too for website. I think that we don't need that as much in the theme. Briefly looking at these other pages, let's see. I'm actually going to change the roundness to square. And I don't know if a shadow is right, but I think I can get rid of this border. Yeah. Another fun thing we can do, I was talking about the accent image shapes the other day. I really like playing with these. We could make it round if we wanted, and immediately that sort of changes the look and feel of the page. And also, just a quick call out, I'm in the theme editor right now. By default, we'll drop you into this test page, just in case you don't have content but you can also preview it on your current page. That's super useful for cases like this where we have a lot of the page built, we're ready to go, and we just want to tweak the theme to make sure that we like how everything is looking and see what our options are here. So I could do these wiggles. We have like the inverted cut and we have these like more diagonal ones. I'll leave it on diagonal for the sake of time and being able to go through a little bit more content. But I'm going to go down to these buttons here. So they're looking better because I turned off that accessibility thing. One thing we could do is we could change them to this pill shape that George has on the original site. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It matches a little bit more closely. And like I said, we can use a color dropper within Gamma. The shade of orange that I've been using is the one that was pre-built with the theme that we started with. I can use this color dropper to just go in and grab this exact shade of orange from Georgia's site. That just makes it super quick and easy if you have something like this where you already have assets that you're working with. And you can just make sure you're using exactly the right colors. Let's see, I've added this other shade of orange, modified some of the typefaces. I'll go back down to these buttons. This one, I believe that this is happening because it's a faded card and Gamma is trying to adjust the contrast of the button here. So I would need to, I think, probably mess around a little bit more with the card color and the backdrop. But we can go back and make these buttons filled. And I think this is looking like pretty good. I'm going to republish it one more time so you can see it with the new theme. Yeah, I had fun doing this. We basically just recreated your entire site or your entire landing page in under an hour. I think that if you are, again, wanting that pixel precision control, Gamma's not necessarily a tool for that, but if you were thinking, hey, I really want to play around with the content of my site, I want to play with the messaging, like I want to sort of explore a new layout and see what my options are, that is so hard to do in a traditional website builder in a tool like WordPress. It's pretty high stakes typically, and it's just going to take you a lot of time. So I would definitely encourage you to do some of that exploration in Gamma. If you have like less technical needs with your website, of course, like I would definitely encourage you to host it through Gamma because um, it's like a great platform for people who aren't looking to, they want to just get to work. They don't want to spend all their time like working on their site or working on their presentation. But again, like Gamma is not just a tool for creating presentations. It's not just a tool for like finished, super polished product. It also can be a tool for some of this like exploratory work. And let me see if I can find this really quickly.
I agree, Allison. I was, when I asked you questions yesterday about adding the blog, I was bummed out because I'm like, oh, I have more advanced needs than what you have. But what you've shown today is I think that this is an important part of your value proposition, actually, that should show up in your marketing messaging, is this is a great way to quickly mock up what your website could look like and have design options presented with the assistance of AI.
Yeah,
And
totally.
and also you even without AI, you can explore how things could look, what the options are. So you had mentioned Figma, and Figma has its own learning curve, but this
Yeah,
is going to be
absolutely.
quicker than Figma to learn for most people.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's quicker than Figma to learn. Of course, it's less flexible, but I think when you're in that exploratory phase, those constraints are really helpful. I think it's so useful to just have some sort of boundaries on what you can do when you're working out your messaging, you're working out your content, you're working out the basics of your formatting. When you're ready, you can take it to that next level and spend all the time you need refining. But at this stage, I think what I always find when I'm designing, when I'm working is like too much too soon can be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And just really quickly before we have to wrap up and go, this is what I was talking about with wireframing for our content team. This is like an exclusive sneak peek into the behind the curtain. I made this template for one of the members of our content team for our marketing site. And this, as you can see, is just a grayscale like wireframe. It is just something that my teammates can pick up. They can replace any of the content in here. They can replace the icons if they feel like choosing those, and just get back to working on their messaging instead of worrying about, oh shoot, I broke the template. Like, how do I get it back to where it needs to be? I even told them, hey, if something gets weird or borked, just duplicate it again and start over. So yeah, it's been really fun demoing for you guys this week. Let me get back to this site we made. Yeah, I had a great time. I hope you guys learned something. Please, again, try out Gamma and then let us know what you think. We are looking for your feedback. It really helps us. George, thank you so much for offering up your site for this demo. I think this was the perfect thing to work on today. And yeah, I really appreciate all the thoughtful feedback and questions you guys have had these past couple days. This sort of stuff, getting that input from all of you is one of my favorite parts of this job.
That was fun. Thanks, Allison.
Yeah, thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank you so much,
Take care, y'all.
Allison, Deho, and the entire team at Gamma who are continuing to innovate and create such an amazing and powerful tool for our content creation and communication. This was super educational, entertaining, and useful for learning how to use Gamma in our businesses. If you guys like this content, if you want to go and try out Gamma, make sure you head on over to gamma.app. Use the promo code AI Summit for a full free month of Pro to start trying out Gamma at no risk to you. See how it works for you. And then, of course, comment, let us know, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube for future updates and more from this Scale It with AI Summit series. Thanks so much, Allison.
Take care, y'all.